Happy Memorial Day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Gavin Batista, your host at the Prosperity Channel. We are now focusing on a very major deal that we will be in Asia, Africa, in Europe. And the reason being, they really want to know what is on my brain and the brain of my other professional economists and stock pickers and real estate speculators on what's happening in America. Well, the good news is this: anytime soon the war will be over, hopefully in Iran. And a lot of people don't know this. There's so many Iranians in America, so many. And many are very wealthy. I repeat, to my Iranian connections in California, you simply have to do a video and show your, not show off definitely, because they might even get mad again, but to tell you frankly, to our Iranians living in Iran right now, your fellow Iranians are doing well here in America. Why don't you stop this nonsense once and for all and let us do business instead of going to this fruitless, worthless, shameful war, destroying the good image of the Iranian professionals. But as far as the Muslim extremists who have killed, murdered so many Americans, it is about time that the American government will be able to guide you towards real civilization, not the theocracy, which doesn't really work. If you can name me a nation in history that followed theocracy as a mode of government, then I'm all ears. I'm all ears to the Iranian government. I am all ears. And I know for a fact that there are so many Iranians who are very, very wealthy here in the United States because they followed the law. They followed the American way of doing business. They adapted to the system. They adapted to the world system of doing business. And it is so sad that your country right now is really practically back to square one. But nevertheless, I hope and pray that the war would end not really in favor of America, but in favor of the world. America is just trying to make lives easier for the Iranians there, because there's no water, there's no food, there's so much instability. They don't even know what the internet is right now, at what level it is right now. It is so bad that it is so sad that they even threaten again Americans to die. And what do they get? Nothing really, actually, except the fact that they want to kill in the name of killing. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to move forward already because this subject matter is about to end. And to Bibi Netanyahu of Israel, the president made a very good calculated decision again on this matter. And the reason being, if the war would continue, the more America and the world will sink into a possible depression because of the oil prices, because of inflation, and because of instability. So the calculated risk of President Trump to end this war is again Trump at its best in negotiating. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to also clear one thing. I would like to be very clear that there is no way the U.S. is going to go on a depression. There is no way the U.S. stock market at large will crash. Okay? There might be a big dip for certain companies that are not managed well, but certainly not the big six, or I would like to call the powerhouse six of the U.S. stock market. Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, or Alphabet, Tesla, just hold on your horses for a while. I made mention of 4 of these stocks. Are you invested on it? If not, do it tomorrow morning. Amazon. Remember, I'm betting a lot on Amazon but by the simple fact that the internal threats of shoppers are still on an all-time high. In other words, you might get hurt while shopping at a big box store. So, I'd like to be very, very clear. There might be a correction. Some say 20-30%. But that 20-30% would be the stocks that, or the companies that are mismanaged. I was just asked a question a while ago, why don't you invest in the Philippines? You know, I've been in the Philippines for about 39 years consecutively. I'm 65 right now, and I wouldn't invest $1. To show you that I am investing based on intelligence, numbers, trending, financial parameters. Who is the CEO? Who owns that company? I am betting on measured statements. I am betting or investing long-term on measured financial statements. And above all, who owns that stock? I'm sorry, who owns that company? Who is the majority stockholder? Who is the current CEO? Who is the future CEO? That is what I look at immediately. And I will be investing a very, very huge sum very soon, ladies and gentlemen, once the new Fed Chairman, Kevin Warsh, will be reorganizing, I heard, the whole Federal Reserve. And I would like to personally congratulate Kevin Warsh as the new Fed Chairman, and I know, sir, that you will be one of the best, if not the best, Fed Chairman in the history of that honorable institution. Now, regards to real estate, it's a state-to-state basis. You cannot come out with a general statement, there's going to be a big market correction. There is going to be a crash as far as real estate is concerned. How can you say that when You go to Florida, they cannot keep up. They have more than 5 million an hour of new investments. Those are the facts. Well, some at the National Association of Realtors would call it 4 million right now, but based on the trending, it's going to be about 5 million. And my prediction, it will reach more than 8 million in a couple of months. Not a couple of years, but in a couple of months. You go to Texas, you go to Oklahoma, okay? You go to these places. The real estate economy in general is very vibrant. In general. Because as you know, the great parts of Oklahoma would be greater Oklahoma city, which is outside the city in a 5 to probably 8 mile radius at this point in time. All the big time players all over the world are investing in Florida, in the Midwest. All. But there are states that are on a downward trend, like the state of California, New York. Yes, that's true. They're all going here in the Midwest. Why? The taxes are practically not only affordable, but zero. And there are so many incentives, including lower cost of living. Unlike in those states I mentioned to you a while ago, New York and California specifically, they tax you to death. It's the opposite here. Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you exactly how much we are going to invest on one company such as NVIDIA. The data centers, the investment of $1 trillion will be easily recovered. Why? Because I see a different point of view about AI. It is not just about cost cutting, but it is increasing your efficiencies. And this is an eye-opener, a big eye-opener. If you look at big multinational companies, what is their number one problem today? You know what? Corporate espionage. And so AI can be used as a tool to avoid endless stealing of corporate intellectual properties with these multinationals, transnationals, and other civilized corporations. The stealing of data is immense. Immense. That's why what happened to Facebook a few years ago, because of the COO, stealing was just massive. Data stealing is a big business. Corporate espionage is simply one of the most lucrative businesses in the world. And the only way to stop that would be, one, to hire people of my level, or two, AI. And that's why when I was in the Philippines, they were asking me if I was interested here and there. I said, you cannot afford me. You cannot bribe me. Unlike most of certain people there. And they were saying that, you know, their top company, Banco de Oro, is #1 and it's profitable. And I said, the reason why it's profitable, it's because of SM malls. And one of these smart aleck guys would come out and say, no, 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 that's not true. Now, to all these Filipinos, and if you're listening to me right now, April Lee or April Tan, answer that question, true or false. SM Malls is the one funding Banco de Oros being number one. True or false? And number two, the most important question is that who is auditing the numbers of SM? I'm not saying SM is going to become the next Manny Villar company where they inflated the numbers by 1.3 trillion pesos. And all he got was, I don't know what, he's not going to jail, is he? He's still there, smiling, while the whole economy is tanking out. So I was telling these Filipinos, especially the professional ones, why don't you simply invest in the United States while you still can? Because in a few months, this economy will just surge. And I will be very specific. So there's no MSNBC talk. And I'm telling to my fellow Californians, if you do not vote for Spencer Pratt, it's all over for California. People will just leave by the droves. And I am predicting 3 million Californians, the wealthy ones, to continue the exodus outside that Golden State. Karen Bass has completely destroyed Los Angeles, California. Totally destroyed. The only way to resurrect the California economy is to hire a guy like Spencer Pratt to resurrect Los Angeles from the grave, and thereby create a ripple effect in other cities, from San Francisco to San Diego to Irvine, California, and the list goes on. Because Karen Bass not only mismanaged Los Angeles, California, but she has completely, totally tarnished the great image of the entire state of the Golden State, which we call California. If you do not vote for Spencer Pratt, you are practically committing economic sabotage by voting for Karen Bass. I know that you might not like the style of Spencer Pratt, but the fact remains that Los Angeles is sinking, has been sinking for the last at least 18 years, 17, 18 years, consecutively. Vote for Spencer Pratt for mayor in order to resurrect Los Angeles from hell, from the dumpster. Do not be fooled by Karen Bass. You've been fooled in the past. You're going to be fooled again in the next several years. And to all those people, all those, oh my God, very, very good, highly civilized Americans who lost their homes at the Palisades, I cannot see the reason why that Karen Bass cannot create an emergency fund to rebuild your homes. According to a better architectural form, a better engineering form, so that at least the 1 year or more than a year of suffering can be somehow hit with a counter move on the part of this government, this worthless, corrupt, stupid government, which unfortunately they call themselves Americans. Because I was there, I lost my home too in the most terrible economic disaster in the history of America since 1929. The worst, because of the wrong policies, the corrupt policies of Ben Bernanke and Hank Paulson. And I'm telling you right now, Ben Bernanke knows the new policies that I'm going to submit to Kevin Warsh, because I submitted it to him. I know the feeling of getting your house burned down by natural forces or a person like Anselmo Cruz, an arsonist. Because we have an arson case here right now in Oklahoma City. And what do they do? What did the arsonists, what did they do? They simply made a major cover-up. So, if Karen Bass will win, it's over. Your life will be so miserable, which is already miserable right now, will be simply terrible in the next couple of years. On the other hand, if you vote for Spencer Pratt, I'm telling you right now, it will be an overnight miracle. Overnight. Because the people are not only fed up, but they are willing to practically do everything day in, day out just to rebuild the whole city of Los Angeles. And on the other hand, when you go to Florida, everything is perfect, except for some weather disturbances. As we professional Tagalogs would say, iba na ang yung nakaupo. It is all about leadership. It is all about the person who is your current mayor, your current governor, your current congressman, your current senator. And I'm telling you right now, I was in California. I knocked on the door of then Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa. I never got a response. You go here in Oklahoma, you knock on the door of the great city mayor, David Holt, you get a response in 24 hours. 24 hours. Why? Because in Los Angeles, it is so corrupt. It is so evil and corrupt. And that's why, if Pratt will lose, it's all over for Gavin Newsom. He doesn't have a chance for the presidency. That's why he's smart enough not to put his eggs in one basket. This is it, Californians. It's Pratt, or you will ultimately become a Detroit, or you will become the next Louisiana. It's over. It has to be Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt will save you from all these doomsday scenarios that's about to happen. Actually, it's already happening right now. It's so bad that if you cannot realize that, I don't know your frame of mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end this particular segment of our Prosperity Channel show by saying this. To all my viewers, do not be fooled by these animals. You know, the problem right now we have in America is the fooling game. They're using me in so many ways. They're using my intellect, my honor, my prestige, my name in so many dirty ways. Like, they're using me with General Electric. And I'm telling you, my friends at General Electric, do not believe these animals. I was the guy behind the greatness, the foundation of greatness of Johnson & Johnson Consumer. And look what happened. Once I left, they dropped the ball, they sold it to Kimberly-Clark, and the list goes on. They come out with a statement, I cannot handle what is that? The Johnson's baby powder as having asbestos. I left that company with honor, with style. Now they're using me again to say that, oops, no. You're this kind of a executive or manager. These are all lies. Absolute 100% lies. I left that company with honor, with style. And the company, for the first time in its history, a subsidiary was able to reach the highest pinnacle of success in all financial, in all marketing, in all business matters, in all measurements. And for the first time in history, Johnson & Johnson was considered #1 in the world because of my leadership. And when I left, they used me as a bad person and all this nonsense right now. They are coming with outright lies with General Electric about my performance, my track record with Johnson & Johnson. They wanted to use the Filipino low way, you know, mababang mababa. They lie and say, hindi, sabi ni Gavin Bautista yan eh. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to be very clear. You might lose a lot of money by listening to these animals. But I am telling you right now, follow the path to prosperity and you will make the big numbers. Because I am the only host out there in the world that you can call up and ask the questions directly. And I am not a user. I am not a person who uses another person's abilities to just favor me. I was the one being used. I was the one being threatened. I was the one almost murdered, killed in the premises of that given multinational corporation. They are using me because of, for a lack of a better term, professional jealousy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to end this segment because we have more segments to come. Good evening. This is Gavin Batista, your host at the Prosperity Channel. Gavin Batista at the Prosperity Channel 91. You can check us out every day because we will be pouring it in to make you prosperous, wealthy, and happy. My cell phone number, my US cell phone number, we're on Viber, is 405-503-8511. Send me that like, call me anytime via Viber if you are out of the country.